Yo, what's going on, everybody? And welcome to a brand new week, and welcome to a post WrestleMania weekend edition of what we like to call the Clash of Champions, where we talk about the different controversies, different news, and rivalries that shape this world we know and love as professional wrestling. I am your host, the vegan you believe in, Conscious Kurt, aka the Professor in the flesh, as always, feeling suntan as a motherfucker after I was in Florida the last 3 days. And my co-host needs no introduction, but fuck it, he's gonna give y'all one anyway.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is his tag team partner, Jonathan Randall, at your guys' service, Mr. Life of the Party, the adventurer himself. And welcome to this great soap opera that we call professional wrestling. And it is, the post WrestleMania. Kurt, I know you said you had a suntan. It was probably killing you out there, wasn't it?
Yeah, I hadn't been to the beach in a year and a half since my trip to Israel. And yeah, the beach was nice and everything. It was great, but I didn't put like any block on or sunscreen on or anything. And I paid the price for it.
Damn, dude.
So like the last day or two, like every time like somebody touched me on the shoulder or slaps me on the shoulder, it feels like Gunther chopped me.
Damn, man, you should need to be prepared next time.
Yeah, I know, you live and learn. I had a couple slip ups throughout this trip, including my GPS not working when I was trying to return my rental car, and it took me like an hour to find the place. I had to ask people for directions. It was a fucking mess. I ended up missing my flight, and I had to get on the next flight. Yeah, it was a whole
Holy
thing.
crap, man, that must have been crazy.
The thing was, I had an early flight this morning, so I ended up not sleeping, and then I had to return my rental car really early, and then for some reason my GPS wasn't working and my Wi-Fi wasn't working either. So I was like trying my best to find the place like on my own without any map, and there was like nobody around to give me directions. And so eventually I found someone, and yeah, it was just a whole mess. But regardless of all that, I still had a fun trip, especially last night. Got to see some old friends from high school I hadn't seen in a couple years. Nice to catch up with a lot of cool people, have a good time, and like see like where we are in our lives now compared to where we were before. And yeah, it was a great thing, man. I really needed it, especially after kind of how disappointing my birthday was.
That's good, man. That's always good to catch up with old friends, and happy for you. But what was happy for all wrestling fans this past weekend was WrestleMania 40, this past Saturday and Sunday night, and man, I got to tell you, one hell of a show.
Yeah, when you put both nights together, it was definitely one of the best manias of all time. Definitely one that will go down in the history books.
Absolutely, and you know what is really crazy when we look back on it. For the first time ever since they did the 2 night format since 2020, for the first time, Kurt, night two finally had the upper hand. Do you agree?
Yes, this was the very first time out of all the years they've been doing the two-night WrestleManias that night two was the stronger night compared to night one. Night two felt more like WrestleMania than night one did. That's just the whole vibe I got from the show.
I feel you, and you know what? Night two started off on the right track, which we'll get into later. But we will start off with night one.
Yes, but before the show started, we had the cold open from Meek Mill, which was really dope. I gotta say, out of the
Oh,
cold opens they've been doing the last few years with celebrities, I think this might have been the best ones. The ones that Meek Mill did on night one and night two, I think those are the ones that were the
hmm,
best.
okay.
Yeah, so we had the cold open from Meek Mill. We also had singing the national anthem, Not America the Beautiful, Coco Jones.
I've never heard of her honestly before, but she did a really splendid job on it.
Yeah, she's pretty popular. She actually just won a Grammy recently. She has a couple hits, as a matter of fact. She actually plays Hillary on the new version of Bel Air. She's the one who plays Hillary.
Oh, that's her. Oh my
Yeah,
god,
that's
I
her.
couldn't like recognize her. Couldn't recognize her, man. Wow.
Yeah, she did a good job. And also, the show started with Triple H coming out. And you could just see when Triple H first comes out, he just closes his eyes and like just takes it all in from the crowd cheering him. And then he comes in the ring and gets the people hyped up and says, "Welcome to WrestleMania." And also, they had a new opening before the show started. So, the whole then, now, and forever opening they do for every show?
Yeah, they have a new WWE has a new intro now. It looks cool. I mean, what do you think about it?
I liked it. Triple H is the voice of it too, or Paul Levesque. I'm not sure what the hell we're calling him these days, but yeah, him doing the voice was definitely a nice touch.
You know what? I don't know about you though, but I don't call wrestlers by their government name. I just for example. So if I see The Rock in person, I'm just going to call him Hey Rock. I'm not going to call him Dwayne.
It depends. It depends on how I get introduced to him. Let's say if somebody introduces me to him, like if someone tells me like, Kurt, this is Dwayne Johnson. Dwayne Johnson, this is Kurt. I'd be like, hey, Dwayne, how's it going, bro? But that's another story.
Right.
The first match of night one was for the Women's World Championship as Rhea Ripley would defend against Becky Lynch. And Becky Lynch's entrance was centered around her book. They were coming out with like certain snippets throughout the book and like her voice narrating
Yeah.
it. There's like a big still shot of her book and then she comes out through it, and even her whole outfit had like different snippets from the book all over it. Kind of gave me the vibe of that, and also a Budweiser bottle. That's also the vibe I got from her outfit.
Really?
Yeah, the way her outfit was designed, it definitely looked like a bottle of Budweiser.
I feel you. Okay, I wasn't really thinking about that, but I like Becky Lynch's entrance. But the one entrance that I really was very, that I liked so much that I wasn't expecting was Rhea Ripley's entrance. She had her band. Well, not her band though, but she had the band who sings her song, perform her song to the ring. And you know how I am about live performances at WrestleMania. I love it. Absolutely love it. If I was a wrestler, Kurt, and if I had, if I had if my song was a rock song, my dream would to have that band sing my theme song as I walk to the ring. That would be like that would just make my whole career. I would love that.
Yeah, it was a badass entrance. Yo, they bodied it. They were a
Yeah.
lot better than somebody else who performed someone else to the ring that I'll get into later. But yes, this was definitely one of the best entrances. Rhea Ripley looked badass. She looked like she was ready to go. She was looking good
Yeah.
as hell too, but that's another story. So we have the match. The match is hard hitting, very physical, which is what I was expecting from these two. And there was even one point in the match where Rhea hit an electric chair on the Becky outside the ring.
Yeah, that was a badass bump. I think that was pretty much like the turning point of that match, if I had to be honest.
Yes, but what was even more badass than that move itself was the fact that Becky kicked out.
Yeah. Oh, the Reptide, right? The first time, right?
That and also the electric chair. Yeah, that was fucking incredible that she was able to survive that.
I kind of knew she was going to kick out of the electric chair. You know what I mean? Like I said, I mean, I see that as like a regular move, but like I said just earlier, that was the turning point of the match.
Yes, it was. And as the match goes on, Becky attempts a man slam from the top rope, but Rhea reverses it and then hits her with a riptide onto the turnbuckle and then hits her with another riptide to get the pin. And Rhea Ripley successfully defends the championship at WrestleMania, surpassing 1 year.
Ooh. I did not see that one coming, man. Like I said, I it was funny in our prediction episode. At first I was like, I wanted Becky to win, and then I changed my mind and I picked Rhea. I kind of thought Becky Lynch was gonna pull it off though, but then again, hey, surprises happen and Rhea Ripley retained, and yeah, it was a great match. First of all, good match to start off the night for one. But yeah, I was surprised Rhea Ripley won though, but I am happy that she did win.
I was surprised, but I wasn't surprised. Although I initially picked Becky to win, there was a part of me that maybe had the feeling that Rhea might retain to give her like more credibility and give her like maybe a longer title reign, which obviously looking like the case now. But overall, I'm not mad at it. I feel like the outcome made sense. Rhea still has a lot of momentum right now, and we're going to see where this goes in the coming months. And yeah, it was a solid match and a great way to open the show. And Becky got her wish. She finally got to open a WrestleMania.
Yes. And on to our next match, we had a six-pack tag team ladder match for the undisputed tag team championships. Now, remember, the stipulation was that both sets of titles had to be retrieved in order for the match to end. So let's get that one thing clear. So that was between, again, A Town Down Under, Awesome Truth, the Judgment Day, DIY, the New Day, New Catch Republic. You know what? This match really, I wasn't really like high on this match though, but it was one of those matches that really caught me off by surprise in a good way. It was better than I expected, if I had to be honest.
Oh yeah, they had a lot of cool spots. Like that one spot where like New Catch Republic did the double moonsaults from the ladders, like outside the ring. Yo, that shit was crazy.
Man.
But one funny ass spot in the match was when R-Truth was trying to get the Miz to make a tag to him, and then R-Truth pins Finn Balor thinking that he won the match, and then Miz has to remind him like, "Yo, it's a ladder match. It's not the same rules."
Yeah,
That shit
I
was
know,
too
right?
funny.
If, oh man, it was because of stuff like that I wanted that I picked the Miz and R-Truth to win, just win one of the belts, you know what I mean? And um again, just great spots in that match. And, a lot of like close calls where you thought like, okay, one person's going to get it, and I like that. You know what I mean? I was against the fact that there was a lot of people in that ring, and it was at first, but hey, I enjoyed it for what it was.
Yeah, well, despite the fact that they had 12 motherfucking people in the match, and like even when the match first started and I saw everybody in there, I'm like, holy shit, how the hell are they gonna pull this off? But they did.
Right.
They
Right.
made it work. It was fun. And in the middle of the match, Austin Theory and Grayson Waller grabbed the SmackDown Tag Team title. So that meant they were now the SmackDown Tag Team champions, but the match continues. And the second part of the match, it gets a lot more fun, which included outside interference from JD McDonough, who attempted to win the titles for Judgment Day, but he was stopped by the New Day as they pushed him off of the ladder through some tables. And then the match ultimately concluded with R-Truth hitting an AA on the Damien Priest outside the ring, a nod to his idol, John Cena, the man he grew up wanting to be like. And then that ultimately led to R-Truth climbing the ladder, getting the Raw sets of tag team titles, and Miz and R-Truth are now the Raw Tag Team Champions. And believe it or not, this would mark R-Truth's very first WrestleMania win.
Round of applause for R-Truth, man. I'm so happy for that man. Finally gets his WrestleMania moment. And like I said before, I said this in the prediction episode how, Miz and R-Truth were once a tag team about 10 years, like 10 plus years ago. And now they're in a match with each other at WrestleMania. And for both of them, and, mainly R-Truth to get this moment, I'm so happy for him. You know what I mean? For that character, man, like you could just be nothing but happy for that guy, man. I know the crowd erupted in the enormous way as possible. I don't blame him for it. And I was happy for him. I wanted him to win. No longer we don't have undisputed tag team champions. We finally have like a separate set of tag team champions on both shows.
Yes, for the first time in 2 years. I was also very happy for R-Truth, and he looked very emotional towards the end. Like when they were showing them celebrating and hugging, you could definitely tell, like, it meant a lot to him. And yeah, I like to see shit like that.
Oh yeah.
And this would mark the first ending of a long title reign, of many endings of long title reigns throughout this whole weekend, which we'll get into later. But yes, congratulations to R-Truth and The Miz, and also Austin Theory and Grayson Waller for winning both sets of tag titles.
I think they deserve it. I think that this helps both of them out. And I think especially for Austin Theory, you know what I mean? We go back to last year, you beat John Cena and we thought that, okay, this is gonna, really gonna, escalate him higher, but it really didn't.
Did jack shit.
I know. Hopefully, him being tag team champions with Grayson Waller, this will help him out better in a way. So, and also this is good for Grayson Waller as well. This is good for the both of them, so they deserve it.
Yeah, I'm happy with how this match turned out. It was fun and definitely one of the standouts of night one. But switching gears to the next match, we had Santos Escobar and Dominic Mysterio taking on Rey Mysterio, and not Dragon Lee as he was taken out in an angle on SmackDown the night before, but he was replaced by Andrade.
That was a good choice. No offense to Dragon Lee though, but Andrade stands out more. He just
came back.
You know what I mean? Come on, like get him in there. You know what I mean? So it was good that Andrade had the spot. So but yeah, it was Rey Mysterio and Andrade versus Santos Escobar and Dominic Mysterio, and the whole LWO was there, man. It was like a whole like family reunion during this match, man.
Yeah, everybody was out there, that motherfucker. Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
The match was cool for what it was. It went about 11 minutes. This was definitely not Rey and Dominic from WrestleMania last year by any stretch, but it was still cool
No.
for what it was. And as the match went on, two masked men helped Rey Mysterio and Andrade by interfering in the match. And those two masked men ended up being Jason Kelsey and Lane Johnson from the Philadelphia Eagles. And their interference would help Rey Mysterio and Andrade finish off Dominic and Santos Escobar, and they would win the match.
You know what? For one, we both picked Santos Escobar and Dominic to win this match. I was pretty surprised by the outcome, but because of what they did, you're in Philadelphia. I mean, I had a feeling that they were going to get, Kelsey in it. You know what I mean? There was rumors they were trying to get him in it, so I'm not surprised. But at the same time, it was funny though. I thought it was funny. You're in Philadelphia. Get one of the popular, players from the Philadelphia Eagles to represent. You know what I mean? He's retired now though, but it was funny. I laughed. I thought it was funny for what it was. You know what I mean? I don't know what do you thought about it?
It was fine. To be honest, I'm not as familiar with those dudes, but whatever. It was cool for what it was. Like you said, it was in Philly and whatnot, so it made sense. And yes, Rey and
Yeah.
Andrade ended up winning the match, but look out for a Carlito heel turn very soon, as Carlito was the one who found
Ooh.
Dragon Lee beaten down initially, which is why he ended up being replaced. And then when Rey
Right.
said he was picking Andrade to be his partner instead, you could kind of tell that Carlito initially was upset, but he played it off, act like he was cool about it. But yeah, I would look out for a Carlito heel turn very soon.
Okay. Good foreshadowing right there.
Yes, and getting into what I said earlier as far as performances that were not so good later in the show, and we had in our next match Jimmy Uso versus Jay Uso. But before Jay Uso came out, he was introduced with a brief performance by Lil Wayne, who, in Samantha Irvin's words, said was the greatest rapper of all time.
I don't know about that. I
That, yeah, whatever, that's debatable. But after this performance from Lil Wayne, that did not help his case.
it was kind of. I mean, it was. It was short. They needed to have time for the match. That's all I could say.
That's no
But
excuse, bro. That's no excuse.
no, I'm not making an excuse for it. I mean, what do you what? I mean, what were you expecting for Little Wayne? You expecting a longer performance or what?
That was one part of it, but just in general, like the little that he did do, like it wasn't really what I would call like a good performance. Even in general, Lil Wayne's not really known for being a good performer. I remember one year in the VMAs, he actually closed the VMAs, and they compared him at the time to LeBron, saying that LeBron James can't close a game just like Lil Wayne can't close an award show.
Oh wow. Well, I don't even know about that though, because I don't really watch VMAs as much as I used to.
This is like a
But
decade ago. This is like the same year when LeBron lost in the finals with the Heat the first time to Dallas. So yeah, LeBron
okay,
kind of still had
so
that choke artist kind of reputation.
okay.
Yeah, just in general, yeah, like Lil Wayne's never been really known for being a great performer. Like, the way Busta Rhymes is known for being a great performer and Method Man and Redman.
Okay, well, I mean, I don't know, man. I've heard that debate. The Weeknd is really not a good performer in person, but I've seen
Hey,
him
that's
in person
possible.
perform. You know what I mean? I've heard that debate from people, so it's like I don't know, man. It's you kind of get too critical about oh, this person's a good artist, but they don't really perform well in person. I mean, at the end of the day, I don't know, man. It's just it is what it is.
It's a part of sometimes the experience. Like if you're going to pay money to go see them and the performance ends up not being that great, wouldn't you be like a little disappointed and kind of, in a way, kind of feel cheated?
I don't know. I'm not really too when it comes to performances, man. Like in person, it depends on how long it is. I'm not gonna beat a person down how the way they're doing it. I don't know. I'm just glad that I'm actually seeing this person perform in person, especially if it's a favorite artist of mine. That's how I see it. I'm not going to feel like cheated out because they didn't do it a certain way how I want it. You know what I mean? Because who am I to say I'm not an artist? I'm
Well,
not making music or anything like that.
Well, I'll say this as someone who's performed on stage and done open mics before. Trust me, that I can definitely tell the difference between somebody who is a good performer, who has good stage presence and knows
Okay.
how to get the crowd into it, to somebody who may be good, recording
Okay.
songs and doing songs in the studio, but when they perform on stage, they just don't have that same energy.
Right.
It's not like a
Okay.
full knock on them as an artist. They still have other things to offer, but just as far as being on stage, it's just like not as much of their strong suit. Like just in general, even with wrestling, like there's certain dudes who are good wrestlers, but when it comes to like being a character and having like good mic skills, they don't have it as much in those areas. Some people are just
True.
sometimes stronger in some areas than other
True.
areas, and that wasn't just me who didn't like Lil
Yeah.
Wayne's performance. His performance got a lot of negative reviews.
I didn't really like dove into that. I really didn't care. But the one thing I do want to add on when it pertains to the match, I'm more disappointed in the match more than anything else. And I told you this before. I was looking forward to this match. I thought that this was going to be like one of the best matches of night one. When I watched the promo
And
package,
oh
I
shit, I have to
just
say,
I
that was one of the best promo packages from the whole weekend.
beautiful, absolutely beautiful. Like you just knew when you saw that it was just this is like it's like cinema. Like you just knew this was going to be a good match because it was very deep and just you know very deep storytelling, man, and just like the two brothers and I'm my brother's keeper, and then at the end I'm not my brother's keeper. That was just like whoa, and you just knew that this was going to be something special. But hate to say it, didn't turn out the way that I wanted or anybody else.
Yeah, this match did not feel as special as you thought it would have felt. They didn't have
Yeah,
the family at ringside like I thought they were gonna have. Also, they didn't have that
true.
factor into it. And there was like one point where like Jimmy was like begging for forgiveness, and then Jay was gonna forgive him, and then Jimmy turned on him again. Yeah, I'm like, yo, what are they doing, bro? And then ultimately, Jay ended up laying out Jimmy with a spear, hit him with the splash from the top rope, and got the win. But yeah, bro, this was a huge letdown. This is one
Very
of the
huge.
worst parts of not only night one, but the whole weekend. The highlight of this whole match was the promo package before, and also Jay Uso's entrance. Jay Uso had a nice entrance, as he always does.
Yeah, too many super kicks. The whole super kick um, spot they were doing. Even my friend who's in attendance.
James?
Not well, James too, but also had another friend from middle school. Him and his wife were in attendance that night, and he was saying the same thing. But he was saying how the whole super kick spot was overboard, and I agree. And it was it was a letdown, man. And crazy to think how we look back at the past two brother versus brother matches in the history of WrestleMania. That of being Brett versus Owen Hart and Matt versus Jeff Hardy. This one was a huge letdown.
Yeah, this definitely wasn't Brett and Owen. And hell, it wasn't even Jeff
No.
versus Matt. And even Jeff versus Matt, people aren't that crazy about.
I watched that match too, and that match was better than what I saw. It's crazy. I was just watching WrestleMania 25 like a week ago, and I was just watching this match. I was kind of like, I was skipping through some of it, and I was like,
The women's battle royal on 25, right? That's what you skipped through?
oh, I skipped that. Oh, I skipped.
Hell yeah.
You bet.
Hell yeah.
I skipped that one fast, dude. Come
So
on.
trash. So trash. But go
Sheesh.
on.
Oy. Yeah, but yeah, but it's back to this one. It was just I was disappointed, man. I was kind of like, man, I was really they build this up for like so many months, and you have this, man. It's a bummer. It's a bummer.
Yeah, it happens. Sometimes certain matches you have a lot of expectations for. You're really expecting it to be a big deal. For whatever reason, it just doesn't turn out that
Yeah.
way. And that's just kind of what happened in this case.
That's how I felt about Brock Lesnar versus Goldberg from WrestleMania 20.
Oh,
It
God.
was a good build up. Very good build up, and I was like, "Oh my god, I'm looking forward to this match." I was telling my friends, "Oh my god, this is gonna be a good match." And then when I watched, I was like, "What the hell is
I
this?"
should have. Well, talking about that match real fast. Talking about that match real fast.
Oh man.
I should have known, considering that Goldberg wasn't even on TV for like that last month going into WrestleMania, that it wasn't going to be a special.
Oh, I forgot about that too. I didn't realize that.
They did like a suspension angle with him, and then after No Way Out, when he cost Brock the title, he didn't show up again until WrestleMania.
Hmm.
That's another story though.
Yeah.
But getting back to that Lil Wayne thing real fast, the one thing comparison I wanted to make: compare Lil Wayne's performance, even though it was brief, to the performance of Rhea Ripley's band for her entrance.
I like Rhea Ripley's way better.
That's what I mean. Yeah, compare the performance of Lil Wayne to the performance of the band that performed Rhea Ripley.
Well, it's better because you got to remember, they sing her theme song.
They just had more energy, bro. They just had more
Of
energy.
course, just compared to the other live bands that perform for other wrestlers to the history in the past WrestleManias we've seen. They're singing their song to the ring. But yeah, you're right. They are showing that energy and that passion to it. I get it.
Yeah, and Lil Wayne was supposed to debut a new song also, and he didn't even do that. He just did a few bars from a milli, and
Oh, he
then that was
was?
it. Yeah, he was supposed to debut a new single, and yeah, he just did a few
Yeah, I
bars from a
think that's what
milli,
I
and then
saw.
that was that.
Oh, okay.
All right, but that's another story. Okay, so I think we talked about the Lil Wayne performance probably more than the Jimmy versus Jay match.
Yeah, you
But then
did.
again,
Yeah, you did.
yeah, I just remember watching that performance and then people talking about it online afterwards. And even Jason Salamonster, when he was reviewing WrestleMania, he talked about how he doesn't really know a lot of Lil Wayne's music, but if what he showed us is what makes him the best rapper of all time, I don't know about all that.
Yeah, that's why when Samantha Irvin said that, like all due respect to her, I'm like, Samantha, you're kind of pushing it just a little bit, just too much.
I don't
I
know if it
don't
was
know
her.
about that. I
I
don't
don't know if it was her
know.
who wrote that, but that's another story.
Pushing it.
All right, in our next match, we had a 6-woman tag as we had Damage Control of Dakota Kai and the women's tag team champions of Asuka and Kairi Sane against the women's version of the Avengers of Jade Cargill, Bianca Belair, and Naomi, who also had a badass entrance. Yo, this shit was epic. Yeah, this was epic.
Come down from a little platform, and yeah,
Yeah, they're all like dressed up in these different superhero outfits, and like Bianca has this like crazy ass robe. Yeah, and yeah, Jade's like all silvered out. She has like a silver lining on her face.
yeah,
Yo, they all looked badass. They all
yeah.
looked badass.
Match was okay for what it was. I think the match was just focused on trying to just we want to like just push Jay Cargill out there into the spotlight, just like debuting her and just showing, you know what I mean? That's kind of like what I saw it as.
Yeah, kind of similar to the mixed tag with Ronda Rousey and Kurt Angle against Triple H and Stephanie. That whole match was just
Mhm.
designed to get Ronda Rousey to the next level,
Out
make
there.
Ronda Rousey look good. So yeah, similar
Yeah.
vibe with that. So yeah, ultimately the match ends with Asuka accidentally spraying the mist in the Kairi Zane's eyes, and then Bianca hit Asuka with her braid, which made a nasty ass sound circa WrestleMania
Oof.
37. Hit her with the
Yeah.
KOD. And then
Woo.
Jade Cargill hit Dakota Kai with the Jaded, which is a great finisher, by the way, and got the pin and got the win for Bianca, Naomi, and
I
herself.
like that. I like that
And
ending.
now I gotta say, there's gonna be a debate now who has the better pin between Jade Cargill and Rhea Ripley.
Ray Ripley.
Fair enough.
But yeah, the match only went 8 minutes. I mean, again, I am looking forward in the future to see what more we could see from her. But yeah, it was just that match was just designed for her just to get her out there, pretty much spotlight her, and no other way to do it on your biggest event of the year at a WrestleMania. So
Yeah, mission accomplished. It definitely accomplished what it needed to. And yeah, they all three looked great, especially Jade. And Bianca
yeah.
maintains her undefeated WrestleMania streak.
Oh yes, 3-0, right?
4-0.
Oh, 4-0, right? Four.
Yeah. But I think her and Jade are probably on a collision course for WrestleMania 41.
We'll see. We'll see. We'll see how. Again, we'll see how Jade maintains this momentum, and more importantly, how well she does as a performer. We'll see how that turns out, and I hope it turns out well for her.
I believe it will. But yes, let's move on to our next match. For the Intercontinental Championship, we had the Ring General, Gunther, at his 666th day as
Good
Intercontinental
Lord,
Champion. Very weird number.
I
Against the
know.
challenger.
Oh my god. Go on.
against the challenger Sami Zayn. But one thing I really liked about this match was what happened before the match.
Oh, Rocky 3
As you
vibes.
see Sami Zayn in the back getting ready, then
Lord.
his wife and son come to say hi to him, and then he's walking through the back getting ready to go to the ring, and then Chad Gable stops him and tells him good luck, and he says he's not going to be out there with him, and then he says, "You got this. You've had it the whole time." And then Sammy walks up to Gorilla, and then as he gets to Gorilla, Kevin Owens is there, and Kevin Owens wishes him good luck and gives him a hug, and then he goes out there and makes the entrance. And yo, I loved how they did this. And this whole thing was one camera shot. Literally from start to finish, it was one camera shot. Kudos.
Yeah, kudos to the cameraman, but you forgot one thing what Chad Gable said to him before he left.
Oh, yes. He said, after this, you owe me a favor. Yes, he did say that.
Exactly.
Perfect. Yes.
Literally Rocky 3, literally just Rocky 3 vibes. Like, good Lord, we're watch. We're gonna this is literally just Rocky and Apollo. Remember my favor. What favor? Oh Lord. But no. All jokes aside, it was cool though. Again, it was one camera shot. I didn't really pay attention to that though, but it was cool. I like how they did that shot of him walking through Gorilla and on out to the entrance. I like that.
Trust me, I've been paying a lot of attention to their production for the last few months. Ever since Kevin Dunn stepped down, I've been paying extra
Yeah,
attention to their production, and their production
yeah,
is as great as it's ever been. You notice how at the beginning of their PLEs, they'll show like everybody on the show like arriving to the arena, like what time they arrived and all
yeah,
that.
yeah.
Yeah, things along those lines. And yeah, even the graphics, like, when Samantha Irvin is doing the ring announcement for like the championship match, like kind of the crazy graphics they have for it. Yo, they've been doing a lot of good work with their production. And like I said, it's the best it's ever been, probably, from what I've been seeing.
The one nod, okay, the one nod that I kind of just saw just a little bit weird and disturbing is how like I get that you have sponsors, I get it, but when you are putting your sponsors on the freaking the middle of the ring and then on your the apron and all that crap, it's just it's just kind of distracting.
Oh, you mean the Prime energy drink bullshit?
That too, and then like when you have like oh like for example like Slim Jim. Oh, this match is brought to you by Slim Jim, and you're watching the match, and all you can see on the apron and all that crap is like the whole Slim Jim presentation. I was like, dude, like we get it.
And what was even worse is that the match with Bianca, Jade, and Naomi was sponsored by Wingstop, like the chicken wing place. Did they not think that a match with the three black women sponsored by a chicken wing place would be kind of racist and maybe offensive? Did that maybe think about that beforehand?
And let's not forget about that during the during the tag team match between Ray, Andrade, and Dominic and Santos Escobar. How that match was sponsored by Aqua Fresca drinks.
Oh my God. Yeah, they need to rethink these things. I think they really need to pay more attention to these things in the future.
I saw a post on
Oh
that,
my
and I was like,
God.
it just hit me because I was like, whoa, they exactly, yeah. But just in general, bro, I think it's a little bit annoying. You don't need to show it into our faces that sponsors and stuff, man. I'm trying to watch a match, and it was kind of that was one of the like we'll get into it later when we talk about our last match because they did the same thing for the last match. How they had like it was some homeowner sponsorship they had, and that was just all over the ring during the match. It was kind of hard for me to like you know like focus on the match, and I'm seeing that big old white glaring sponsor on the whole ring apron and all that, man. I thought it was just like, dude, come on.
Yeah, it's not my favorite thing, but whatever it is, what it is. But we had the match with Gunther and Sami Zayn, and Gunther beats the fuck out of Sami Zayn for the first half of it. No surprise. Hits him with multiple power bombs, which Sami Zayn kicks out of. Yeah, and they were basically telling the whole Rocky versus Drago story. Even Corey Graves made a reference to it on commentary. And he said that Sami Zayn fights great, but Gunther's a great fighter, which is another cool reference. The match was kind of a beatdown for the most part. I didn't expect any less, but Sami Zayn continued to kick out, continue to fight back, continue to get back up no matter how much Gunther was beating the shit out of him. And it came to the point where Gunther actually hit like 2 splashes off the top rope on the Sami Zayn. This is kind of giving me vibes of Macho Man and Ultimate Warrior from WrestleMania 7 with the elbow drops. But then as
Yeah.
Gunther's going to the top rope again, Sami Zayn gets back up, wheels himself back up, hits Gunther with a huluva kick, knocks him a little loopy, and then hits a brainbuster, a kind of brainbuster I've never really seen before. Although, from what people were saying, that Sami Zayn used to do this on the independent scene back in the day. But it was the first me seeing this, and yeah, this shit looked crazy. And then Sami Zayn ultimately hit Gunther with 2 more huluva kicks from the other side of the ring, fell down on a Gunther with one arm, and Sami Zayn defeated Gunther after 666 days of being Intercontinental Champion to finally dethrone him. Fuck
Crazy.
me, son.
Dude, did not expect that. I asked myself, is Sami Zayn, was he the right person to beat Gunther? Let's take away the whole storyline. Okay, take away the whole storyline. Just look at the person by himself. Again, was Sami Zayn the right person to beat him?
A part of me kind of felt this whole story may have worked better with Chad Gable as opposed to Sami Zayn,
I agree. Yeah.
but the way they played it out from Sami Zayn backstage with his family, Chad Gable, and also Kevin Owens, and the whole entrance and all that, and the match itself, which was also great, the match itself to the conclusion, I feel like it worked. I feel like it panned out well. It would have been nice to see Chad Gable in that spot, but from the way they pulled this off and the way they designed this, I have no complaints. It played out perfectly, in my opinion.
Okay. And I humbly agree that this is the best match of night one.
Yeah, definitely. After going back to watch it, yes, it was the best match of night one. They really did their thing with this whole match, this whole story, whole conclusion, outcome, and yes, it was very satisfying.
Crazy. I didn't expect that. I didn't expect Gunther to lose that match.
Yeah, I was surprised too. I really thought that, it was going to be a good match, but Gunther was ultimately going to win. But then when Sammy got the win, I'm like, fuck, he actually did it. Holy shit, he actually did it.
I know.
But there is a silver lining to this. Well, actually, 2 different silver linings to this.
Really?
One, we're probably going to get a Chad Gable and Sami Zayn feud probably over the next few months. I definitely see that happening.
Yeah, he said he
especially
wants
after
his
what happened on
favor.
Raw.
Wants his favor.
Yeah, especially after what we saw on Raw Money, which we'll get into later. I definitely see that being a feud. And now it looks like Gunther could be freed up to go after bigger and better things.
That is true. This is kind of similar to Randy Orton 20 years ago when he lost the IC title, and then what happened? He immediately went after the world title. So, and a lot of people are speculating. Like, I don't want to, jump over or whatever though. But especially after what happened at night 2, people are speculating that Gunther could be possibly, next in line to compete for the world title. So, when you say that freed up, that's a good point.
Yeah, we can see what happens with him. Congratulations to Sami Zayn. This is a well put together story. Everybody did their thing, whether it was the producers, whether it was the people in the match themselves. It was very well done. And yes, definitely one of the highlights, actually the highlight of night 1. And in the main events of night 1, what we were all there for, we had the biggest tag team match in WrestleMania history, as we had Cody Rhodes and the world heavyweight champion Seth freaking Rollins in probably like the longest robe or whatever the fuck he was wearing that I've ever seen probably in wrestling history. That shit was like a mile long in his crazy ass outfit.
No, the one he wore last year was longer.
Shit, I gotta go back and look at that again. But that one that he wore on Saturday, that was some next level shit.
I remember that was yesterday. The one he wore from last year was that one that was like freaking red carpet long, dude.
I can't wait to get into his night 2 outfit and entrance in a few minutes. But
good Lord,
we had Cody Rhodes and Seth Rollins taking on the final boss, The Rock, and the tribal chief, the WWE Undisputed World Champion, Roman Reigns. And I gotta say, probably besides Rhea Ripley, the person who wins the award for entrance of the night is The Rock.
That was very presentable. Again, it was But the thing, what I just didn't understand. Look, I understand that Muhammad Ali's who was his wife, right? His widow, right?
At the Hall of Fame, yeah, she gave The Rock the People's Championship.
Yeah. I mean, I was like, why is he carrying the belt? But then I was like, okay, they gave it to him at the Hall of Fame. I was like, all right.
And how funny was it that Hall of Fame speech for Muhammad Ali turned into something like to honor The Rock?
That's weird.
I like the whole flaming Brahma Bull that he walked over for his entrance.
Mhm.
And yeah, he brought the old sweats back from 99. That also looked cool too. Yeah, his entrance was badass, bro. I
Yeah.
got to give him the man credit.
Yeah.
As much as I enjoyed dissing him a few months ago, the dude still knows how to do his thing.
Oh
And
yeah.
you got to give somebody their props for that.
Oh yeah.
Still body the shit out of him.
But but anyway, match went 45 minutes. Whew.
Yeah, I'm not going to lie. I kind of dragged in the first half. The first half kind of took me out of it a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah. I think once, I mean, it was kind of cool. They went outside, but you're right, man. It kind of, dragged a little bit. And it was at that point where I was kind of like, I said to myself, I was like, you know what? Maybe I told you this. Maybe I did told you this that night or the next day. I told you, and I said to myself, like, I think night two is going to be better. Yeah, that match, it just halfway, it dragged, and I get it. The Rock that was his first look. That was his first time, actually working
A full match.
a full time match, a full match in almost what was it, 11 years, and I know they were taking their time, but yeah, ooh, boy, it dragged, dude.
Yeah.
I was surprised how long that match went, man.
And the crowd didn't feel like they were that into it also. Hell, even throughout the night, the crowd
No.
didn't really feel like they were that amped up. And
And a lot of people were talking about that.
seeing how like the weather was really bad that night, like it was really cold pretty much the whole night. Even the announcers were constantly complaining about it. So yeah, I could see how that probably took them out of it. I could definitely see that.
Oh yeah, bro. My friend James was wearing 5 layers of clothes out there, bro.
Yeah, I could probably see how it took
Yeah.
a lot of the crowd out of it. Yeah, like if I were in that kind of weather dealing with that, yeah, I probably wouldn't be the most enthusiastic.
That's why I asked you. That's that's why I asked you when you were at WrestleMania 29. How was the weather there?
It wasn't great, but yo, it wasn't that bad. It wasn't
mean-
that bad. It was just a show that couldn't keep me into it. It wasn't the weather. It was the show that couldn't keep me into it.
Okay. I mean, I'm just more concerned about the weather, though. I mean, but man, because I mean, I said to myself, should WrestleMania continue to have stadium shows up in like East Coast, Northeast?
I guess it depends. I mean, overall, the show turned out to be a success. Everybody loved it and how it turned out. And even the night two part of it was even better, which we'll get into in a few minutes. But yeah, I guess it's something they should at least consider. Yeah. But in any event, let's get back to the match. Although the match was kind of slow in the first part of it, it did pick up more towards the second half. But one part that definitely stood out to me throughout the match was The Rock throwing his weight around, like when the referee's trying to count him out, and then he reprimands the referee saying, "If you count me out, you're fired. I don't fuck around."
Oh yeah, right. Oh,
And then there's one point where he low blows Seth Rollins, and then the referee literally just goes to Cody Rhodes and apologizes because he can't do anything about it because The Rock threatened his job. What the fuck can he do?
right.
But then the match kind of starts to pick up as Rollins and The Rock are in the ring. And then Cody slaps actually The Rock as he has Seth Rollins in the sharpshooter. And that leads to Rollins hitting The Rock with a curb stomp. And then Cody gets a tag in with Roman, and Cody and Roman are going at it. And then Cody hits Roman with the crossroads. But as he's about to pin him, freaking The Rock pulls the referee out of the ring.
Oh man.
What a cheap move. What a cheap ass move.
Oh, he's the final boss. Is a heel. Heel work.
He's just mad because his movies suck.
Oh. We could agree that the second half of his movies suck. I'd like to like his first 2 movies. I like.
The rundown was cool.
I love the Scorpion King. I will never like. You can't bet against that.
Yeah, but it's Kevin Hart movies and some of these action movies. Like I think the skyscraper movie he did, like a modern day Die Hard or whatever the fuck it was. And obviously Baywatch we could talk about all day long.
I never watched that. I don't want to.
Neither did I. Even he shits on it.
Oh my god. I'd rather watch Doom. Doom. Anyway.
So we have the match, and then Roman ends up getting Cody in the guillotine lock. And as he has him in it, and The Rock's like holding Cody's legs for an unfair advantage. I like the fact that Seth Rollins actually stomped Roman in the head to break up the move.
Yeah, that was a good spot. I remember that one.
And honestly, in one of my favorite spots of the whole match, as Roman is preparing to spear Cody again, Seth Rollins pushes Cody out of the way, and Roman Reigns accidentally spears The Rock. And yo, that sell job from The Rock afterwards was fucking priceless.
They made memes for days for that crap. I'm telling you right now. And I kid you not, when I saw that, I thought it was going to be the turning point. I thought, like, okay, this is it. And because of that, both Cody Rhodes and Seth Rollins end up pedigreeing Roman Reigns and The Rock. And I thought that was it.
I didn't. I knew they were going to kick out. There was no way they were going to beat him that
Oh,
way. There was no way they were going to.
oh,
It was a great spot, don't get me wrong. There was a lot of drama in it, but I knew
oh,
they weren't going to win.
oh.
All right, but the match goes on. We go outside the ring, and there was even certain points where The Rock was taunting Cody's mom, which also pissed me off. Yeah, talking shit to Cody's
Man,
mom, like Mama Rhodes, look at your boy now, look at your boy now, and you could hear Cody Rhodes' mom like yelling back at him. I wonder what she was saying.
I gotta look at that again. Crap was crazy.
All right, enough of that nonsense. But Cody reverses The Rock's attempt at putting him through the announce table, and then Cody Rhodes rock bottoms The Rock through the announce table. Who the fuck would have ever guessed that that would happen at WrestleMania or
Right.
ever, really?
Exactly.
But yeah, I would have never guessed this shit in a million years. But yes, that did happen. And then right after that, literally,
Yeah.
Roman speared Seth Rollins through the railing. That's probably the second craziest spot in the match. The part when Roman spears The Rock was insane, but this part was also fucking nuts.
Man.
One thing throughout the match that you definitely noticed was that Seth Rollins' knee was taking a beating.
Ooh, it was, man. It was. And like, again, foreshadowing that would be a determinable outcome going into night two.
Roman and Cody are in the ring, and then Cody hits Roman with a crossroads, hits him with a crossroads again, and as Cody's attempting to do the third crossroads, Roman pushes him to like the backside of the ring, and as he does that, The Rock whips the shit out of Cody's back with the belt. And yo, that was the nastiest sound probably I think I've ever heard, period. Yo, that shit was disgusting, man.
Oof.
Yeah, this was rough. And then that led to Roman hitting Cody with a spear, and then The Rock hitting Cody with a rock bottom. And then as he's setting up for the people's elbow, he does the neck cutting sign, and then does the people's elbow to Cody, gets the pin. And even as he's getting the pin, you can hear Michael Cole on commentary say that Cody is screwed.
Yep. At that moment, we all thought we were, though. But at the same time, Kurt, we did predict this. We did both pick The Rock and Roman Reigns to win this match.
Yeah, because just a Roman and Cody one-on-one match is going to be boring. This story definitely was going to need like different characters to play into it and like different things to play into it. So yeah, it was a no-brainer that Rock and Roman were going to win, but still fun match regardless. I know we said it dragged in the first half, but it did pick up in the second half. And this now is the second longest main event in WrestleMania history.
Oh, 45 minutes, man. It was a determinable outcome. We both knew like what was going to happen, but hey, you gotta create that suspense and have that cliffhanging ending. And like I said, man, look, night one was okay for what it was. There was a couple of good matches and here and there, but I just felt that night one just dragged just a little bit. And I said to myself, and I kind of knew, like, yeah, night two is gonna be better.
Yeah, overall night one I thought was cool. It was definitely the weakest of all the night ones since they've been doing them for WrestleMania. But I feel like it definitely picked up towards the end with the Sammy and Gunther match. And then the main event ended up being good, especially in the second half. Overall, it delivered. Overall, you can't call it a bad night one. But night two was definitely where things heated
Ooh,
the fuck up.
hell yeah, boy. Oh,
And even at the start of the show, you could tell that the weather was a lot nicer compared to night one. And even the announcers were saying it definitely was nicer out. I think it was maybe like 60 degrees around that neighborhood. I did like the fact that they had this group called the War and Treaty sing God Bless America. I don't think they've ever sang God Bless America at WrestleMania before. I think that was the first.
no. Mm-mm. No.
I like the night two version of it as much maybe as the Coco Jones one on night one.
Okay.
Yeah, they were dope. And also, at the beginning of the show, we were greeted by Stephanie McMahon,
Wow.
who we have not seen on WWE TV in at least 2.5 years. And yo, it was great to see her. She came out, she gave a speech talking about how this WrestleMania is the first WrestleMania of the Paul Levesque era. So that pretty much confirms what I was talking about earlier. And then she
Mm-hmm.
talked about, like, her memories at WrestleMania 1, watching it from the curtain and being at every single WrestleMania, and how this one feels so special, and welcoming everybody, and how like it's things like this that bring all of us together from all over the world and like different backgrounds for this one thing we love the most. And yeah, it was great to see her, and great for her to have her kick off night two, especially considering that her husband kicked off night one. So yeah, we are definitely in a new era of WWE, but from what we saw, especially on night two, I am along for the ride.
Hell yeah, boy. And it started off in the right way as possible. You start off night one with a championship match, and you want to start off night two with a championship match. And that was for the World Heavyweight Championship between Drew McIntyre and Seth freaking Rollins. May I say, as an annoying heel that Drew McIntyre has been, I loved his entrance for night two. Loved it. Oh, it was so badass. It started off like similar to what he had at WrestleMania 35. He had the Scottish band or whatever you call it playing
Pipe band, I
music.
think they call it. Pipe
Pipe
band,
band,
I
yeah, thank you,
believe they
pipe
call it.
band. And then you look towards down the when he comes out, like these Scottish soldiers
Soldiers
had these swords up. It was kind of similar like when Undertaker at WrestleMania 14. You know what, it had like the
with the burning sticks.
yeah, and like when he walked, they lifted up. It's kind of similar to what they did for Drew McIntyre, and I loved his entrance, man. It was so badass. Loved it.
Oh, it was great. That's by far his best entrance, probably at WrestleMania, period. And
Yeah,
arguably, maybe my favorite entrance of night two. Yeah, this shit
yeah,
looked great.
yeah. I felt bad for him because his original ring outfit was late. Damn you, UPS. But hats off to his wife, making another outfit for him a day before.
I don't think it was his wife. I think it was like it was one of the ladies who works backstage. Her husband posted that and
Really?
said my wife was the one who made the outfit.
Oh. Oh, okay, okay. Right.
Yeah, but shout out to that lady
Oh.
regardless for putting that shit together and staying up until 6 in the morning to do it. Yo, that's badass. Yo, more power to her. And yeah, you suck, UPS.
I know, right? Shame on you, man. But anyway, Drew McIntyre makes his spectacular entrance, so and then Seth Rollins had a weird one, man. I was getting like a whole Mardi Gras theme from it, and I was like, they're in Philadelphia. I don't know what.
Well, come to find out, that's apparently what they do in Philly in New Year's Eve time.
Really?
Yeah, for New Year's Eve in Philly, they do that kind of thing. That's kind of what they do.
Oh, wow. Okay.
I heard Pat McAfee say it on commentary, but yo, that definitely did give me some Mardi Gras vibes. And yeah, CM Punk, by the way, was on commentary for this match. And
Yes.
right when Seth Rollins comes out and he sees his outfit, he says, "Look at this goof." Yeah, that outfit was definitely something special. But I gotta say, props to Seth Rollins for having two outrageous outfits in one WrestleMania weekend. That shit is unheard of.
I mean, which one would you thought was the more outrageous one? That one or night one?
This night two outfit was fucking special. That's what I'll say. It was special. And that entrance with the whole Mardi Gras vibe and yo, there were a lot of them out there, bro. There were a lot of them.
I know.
There was like at least 50 of them.
I know. I still like Drew's better.
Fair enough. But I'm not gonna lie, Seth Rollins is great and all, but I remember like when like the entrance is over and you see him wearing the title and like Samantha Irvin is like doing the ring announcement for them. I'm like, damn, it's kind of hard to take him seriously with that fucking outfit on. Holy
Right.
shit.
Or anybody for that matter, Bo. But anyway, so the match starts and just at a blink of an eye, Drew McIntyre hits Seth Rollins with a Claymore kick.
Yeah, that was a really unexpected way to start it off.
I was almost getting vibes of WrestleMania 28. I felt like, is this going to end that fast? Sheamus gets his dead with Bryan and then the match is over. I was afraid that it was going to be over just like that.
Nah, but Seth Rollins did kick out, and yeah, that was a crazy ass way to
Thank
start
God.
it. Yeah, and then they fight outside the ring for a while, and Seth Rollins attempts a curb stomp onto Drew outside the ring, and it kind of hurts him. And as the match goes on, Drew hits Seth Rollins with another Claymore kick, but Rollins kicks out again. And he's so frustrated, he's so pissed off that he like destroys the announce table and he even talks shit to CM Punk while he's destroying the announce table. And you can even hear Punk saying, Drew can't win the match. He's frustrated now. So now he's resorting to using the furniture. And then he brings Seth Rollins out to the announce table, but Seth Rollins counters him. And then Seth Rollins curb stomps Drew onto the announce table. But unfortunately, that did also hurt him in the process. And that would go on to play into the end of the match as they go back inside the ring. Drew hits Seth Rollins with another Claymore kick, but Seth Rollins kicks out again. And Drew McIntyre is losing his fucking mind. He's getting pissed. He's getting frustrated. And he's like saying, get up, get up, get up, get up. He's like ready to like fucking take Rollins' head off, which he ends up doing for a fourth time with another Claymore kick. But this one would turn out to be the charm as Drew McIntyre would get the pin and become the World Heavyweight Champion. And for the first time ever, winning a World Championship in a stadium in front of fans.
I want to say, how can we not forget about what he did, like kind of like early in the match? Drew McIntyre goes out in the ring, gets on the phone, and tweets bored at work during the match.
Oh, that was funny as hell.
Yep. Bored at work. I bet you were. So as Drew McIntyre is in, just cherishing this moment with the crowd finally having his WrestleMania moment that he so desperately prayed for. Seth Rollins is emotional too. He looked like he was in tears, but he was pretty much telling
He was in tears, bro.
yeah, he was telling Drew McIntyre that you effing deserved it. I was like, oh, the nod to him.
Yeah, I like that. Yeah. Wasn't expecting it, but I did like that Rollins gave him that acknowledgement. And yes, Drew is emotional himself, winning the title in front of the fans for the first time. He like kneels down. You can see him crying a little bit, but then he raises it up. Then he goes outside and hugs his wife and hands his wife the title. And then he's celebrating. But then as he's celebrating, he starts to look at CM Punk.
And this is this is when my moment came true, ladies and gentlemen. He gets on top of the announce table, pretty much just talking mess to CM Punk, like I told you so, and just rubbing in his face. CM Punk is just taking it, just like, hey, you got your moment. Why are you here? Just any common sense, any person in that moment would just leave. But no, he wants to be stubborn, wants to rub it in his face, and it pretty much backfires on him because in a blink of an eye, CM Punk pretty much just grabs his leg and just trips him over and then beats up Drew McIntyre. He even takes off his arm brace off and then hits him with it. And as soon as that happens, boom, Damien Priest's song hits.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, and in the moment of truth arrives, he tells him, I'm cashing in my money in the bank. Throws Drew McIntyre in the ring. He gives him a choke slam. 1, 2, 3. And 5 minutes later, we have a new World Heavyweight Champion, Damien Priest. As I predicted. Told you so. Ladies and gentlemen, I call this good old-fashioned karma. For weeks, and this is not just about what Drew McIntyre did that night. For weeks, you've been pretty much just been throwing dirt on CM Punk, talking about, oh, I took your moment away from you, and I did this, I did that, and you're hurting all that. I'm gonna be in WrestleMania. I already knew that was gonna backfire on you, bro. I knew it. And then to make it worse, you won the title. Okay, you did. And I picked Drew McIntyre to win that match. But I also said that what you did to CM Punk is gonna get at you so much. You talking about that man rent free, that was gonna backfire on you. I said, and I told Kurt, I told you, and I told the whole entire world that CM Punk was gonna ruin Drew McIntyre's moment. That made my entire night.
Oh, I'm sure you were ecstatic.
Oh, you damn right I was. I was tweeting about it. I was all over the place about it. Even Jason Solomon was like, "Oh, that man needs to be stopped." No, he had the right to do what he did. You pretty much getting into a man's face who's hurt after you won the title. Just leave. There's a video of a lady watching that match, and she was screaming, talking about, "You idiot! Why are you not leaving? Leave!" But you didn't. That's your fault.
Couldn't help himself. Just couldn't help himself, and he fucked himself in the process.
Oh hell yeah! Yep.
But yeah,
Karma, baby.
yeah, but Damien Priest is now the new world heavyweight champion, and I am here for it. Yo, it was great.
We predicted it.
We did predict it. Yes, we did. But yeah, I have to say, this whole first match,
Yeah.
like first 30, 40 minutes of night two were incredible. This is one of the hottest starts to a WrestleMania I've ever seen.
Yeah. You just knew from that moment. You already knew night two was gonna be better.
Ooh, yeah, goes without saying. Yeah, that shit was incredible.
Yeah.
From the entrances that Drew and Seth Rollins had, the match itself, although the match wasn't super long, they still did great with the time they did have, the 10 minutes or so it was. It was more of like a sprint than a marathon. And then just the
Yeah.
post-match stuff with Drew getting his moment and then Seth acknowledging him and then Drew like taunting Punk and talking shit to Punk and then Punk attacking him and then fucking Damien Priest coming in and cashing in the Money in the Bank. The second person in WrestleMania history to ever do so and becoming the world heavyweight champion for the first time. And he is now the oldest person, I believe, in WWE history to win the title for the first time at that age.
Not only that, Kurt. Not only that, I showed this to you as well. Damien Priest being the champion is now he is for the first time in 50 years we have a Puerto Rican world champion.
Yes, first one since Pedro Morales. Yes, right. That's right.
Yes, yes, and I loved his speech during the press conference. He said it in Spanish. I was doing it for the people of Puerto Rico, and I love that. Absolutely love that, man.
He talked about how, representation matters. And also, one interesting thing that he said in the press conference was that 10 years ago, he was actually homeless.
Yeah, I read about that, man. That was crazy. And he didn't eat a lot, and he was trying to save up money. And then 10 years later, now you're the world champion at WrestleMania. I'm more than happy for that guy.
Yeah, he earned it. He had that Money in the Bank for almost a year, cashed it in at the right time. And yeah, it was great to see him have that moment. And yeah, for WrestleMania to just start that way, it's one of the reasons why I love this shit so much.
Happy for him. I'm sorry, I think it was 2 days later he threw the first pitch at a Yankees game.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah, he was at the Yankees game.
Yeah.
But one noticeable thing now is that Judgment Day now has the world heavyweight title and the women's world title.
Yeah.
They lost the tag titles, but now they have the world title.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, hot opening to WrestleMania Night 2. Congratulations to Damien Priest. And Drew McIntyre has to feel like the dumbest motherfucker on earth.
He is.
After that moment.
He is. I told you so. Told you. Karma.
You should write a diss to Drew McIntyre.
Bro, I've been talking shit about him all over social media for days. Oh my god. Even CM Punk even posted about it on his Instagram. He posted of him, throwing the peace sign up and his face on the Drew McIntyre's face on the tombstone.
Oh, that's great.
And then not only that, insult to injury, he's playing Scottish music on his posts. I laughed so hard. Yeah.
Oh shit. Yo, and he was laughing and clapping when Damien cashed in. Yeah, it was great.
And he blew a kiss to Drew McIntyre's wife. That was a funny
shit.
Yes.
Yeah, this whole thing just played out perfectly. And Damien Priest is like a prime example about how your age doesn't matter. Like if you have the talent, if you have, the
Hell
drive
no.
to get to that next level, it can happen for you. And yeah, he even said also that Bad Bunny match at Backlash last year was pretty much his coming out party. That's pretty much what, showed the company that he could be a main eventer. And look at him now.
Yeah.
Shout out to Chris Brown.
Oh man, but anyway,
All right, so moving on to our next match, we had a Philadelphia street fight with the Authors of Pain and Karrion Kross against Bobby Lashley and the Street Profits, with a special guest referee assigned for the match.
Bubba Ray Dudley.
Yes, ECW legend and Philadelphia legend in that regard. Yes, Bubba Ray Dudley, also a person involved in many memorable WrestleMania moments over the years, which we could testify to. Yeah, it was great to see Bully Ray in that spot being the
Yeah.
referee, and also a guest commentating spot from Snoop Dogg.
Look, I'm gonna say this for the record. Give that man a contract. Please give that man a contract, please.
Yeah, a lot of people were saying they liked his commentary and that he should be on full time.
It was hilarious from the moment the match started. Dude, Snoop Dogg just went off on commentary, man. He was talking about, oh yeah, this is how me and my homeboy square up in the hood. I was like, what the?
Wow, I never thought I would hear this at WrestleMania.
I mean, he's been part of WrestleMania on a couple of occasions before. I mean, I was there last year to see him in person, which was great.
I saw him going to the Hall of Fame. I got to see him going to
Yeah,
the Hall of Fame.
to hear him on commentary, man, that was funny. it kind of made the match a little better. I think without him, I think the match would have been but just having him, do it, do the commentary for that match it kind of made it a little more interesting. The match was okay for what it was. Do you agree?
Yeah, it was fine for what it was, but honestly, it was the weakest part of night two.
True, true.
There was one spot where like Bubba Ray told like the Street Profits and Bobby Lashley to get the tables, and then when they got the one table out, they had Karrion Kross on it, but then it like collapsed before they could put him through it. Yeah, that was not a good look.
Yeah.
Whatever accidents happen, like how you gonna control it? But they ended up putting him on another table, which Montez Ford did a frog splash to Karrion Kross through, which hurt himself in the process, obviously. And that led to Bobby Lashley getting the pin on Karrion Kross to get the win for the team. And yeah, Street Profits and Bobby Lashley win, no surprise. And yeah, Bubba Ray and Snoop Dogg were in the ring to celebrate with them afterwards. It was fine for what it was.
Yeah.
Outcome was no surprise, but yeah, it all worked out. It was fine.
Yeah. I kind of wanted the Final Testament to win because I thought like, okay, new stable, get them out there though. But they didn't win. I was whatever about it though. But it is what it is. But on to our next match: LA Knight versus AJ Styles. This match was better than I expected.
Yeah, it was pretty good. AJ Styles actually came out to new theme music.
Yeah, yeah. We were told about that I think like a few days ago though. But yeah,
Yeah,
um,
but honestly, I'm not saying it's bad, but like a lot of people have been kind of clowning it ever since Mania. They kind of don't like the fact that he
yeah,
changed it.
true. We all remember for that old one though. That old one still goes hard though. You know what I mean? But
Oh, of course.
yeah, but yeah. The match went 12 minutes and a half, and it was. I liked it. Hard hitting match for one.
Yes, it was hard hitting. It was also very physical. And then it came to the point where AJ was going to do the phenomenal forearm, but then LA Knight like tipped the ropes down and AJ fell on the ropes chest first. And that led to LA Knight hitting AJ with the blunt force trauma to get the win at his first ever WrestleMania. And I fucks with it.
Yeah, good for him, man. Good for him. I love the spot where AJ Styles tried to pull the mat outside of the ring.
Oh, yeah, he did do
Yeah,
that.
yeah. I like that spot though. We rarely see stuff like that. You know, what I mean, it was very old school. That's one of the reasons why I like this match. LA Knight gets his first WrestleMania win. Good for him.
Yeah, the match was good. It was one of actually, honestly, AJ's better WrestleMania matches.
I
I think
agree.
we've talked about before how like a lot of WrestleMania matches from AJ have kind of been a letdown, but I would say this is probably maybe his
Yeah.
best WrestleMania match, like actual like match in front of fans since the one with Shane McMahon at 33.
But I mean, what do you thought about the one against Jericho from 32? Did you like that one?
That one was good too, but I would say the 33 one was better. And obviously, the one that he's most known for is the Boneyard match, but that was like under a whole
Oh, of course.
bunch of different
Yeah.
circumstances.
True. True.
Solid match, but I think maybe some of AJ Styles matches at WrestleMania we might not be getting too many of in the future because he did mention that he's probably close to retirement now.
True. I read about that, and he's talking about how every time he gets out of the bed, his body's hurting, and he's in his 40s. It is coming to a time where he wants to call it quits. So he's great shape, not good shape, great shape though, but still, you're
Yeah,
40.
he put on mad muscle mass. Yeah, he put on mad muscle.
I know, but as of right now, just enjoy it for what it is, and then when the time has come, he'll be ready to step away. But as of right now, enjoy it.
He said he kind of like is thinking about the fact that he might be embarrassing himself, like that's starting to cross his mind a little bit. So yeah, he's like definitely feels like he's getting closer to that time to retire,
Yeah.
and we'll see what happens. But until then, we still have him around. But yes, on to our next match and a triple threat for the United States Championship. We had the douchebag fuck Logan Paul with another douchebag fuck type entrance with a monster truck against Kevin Owens and Randy Orton. But I did like what they did with Kevin Owens' entrance, how like he was like walking through Gorilla, and as he was getting there, Sami Zayn was there with the Intercontinental title to wish him good luck, similar to the night before, and then Kevin Owens comes out, but in kind of to one up Logan Paul, he comes out with a golf cart. And then he drives the golf cart down the ramp. And then as he's driving it down, Randy Orton's music hits. And then he backs up the golf cart. And then he has Randy Orton right on the back of the golf cart with him to the ring. And even you can see Randy Orton telling him to slow down as he's driving it down the ramp.
Please. And the last thing we need is an injury, a botched injury, because a man was driving too damn fast on his go-kart. Sheesh.
Yeah, you don't want those kind of problems.
Hell no.
Kevin Owens probably doesn't even have his license.
Oh.
Anyway, okay, so we have the match. The match is pretty fun, though. The match has a good pace to it. And then it gets to the point where Logan Paul actually knocks out Randy Orton with the brass knuckles, but it does not lead to him winning the match. Randy Orton finds a way to recover from it. And then it gets to a point where Randy Orton's going to do the punt to Logan Paul, but Logan Paul is saved by his little mascot, and the mascot's identity is revealed, and the mascot turns out to be I Show Speed, a YouTube personality, yes, to save Logan Paul with his little shenanigans, but this would come back to bite him in the ass as Randy Orton would lay his little ass out with an RKO through the announce table. Good.
Thank God. And that fool had the audacity, he had to bark at him. But no, I loved how Orton
I Show Speed
kicked the hell out of him. It was like watching when Charlie Murphy kicked Rick James in Chappelle's show.
Oh, shit.
Even Randy Orton even posted it on his Instagram a few days later after it. I thought it was hilarious, though, but that's what it was like. Oh, I Show Speed. Oh.
But the match goes on, and then Kevin Owens is about to do a pop-up powerbomb to Orton, but then Orton reverses it into an RKO, and as he's about to win, Logan Paul throws Randy Orton out of the ring, and then goes to the top rope, hits Kevin Owens with a very impressive frog splash, and then wins and retains the title. Predictably so, but I'm still not happy about it.
Yeah. If it was a one-on-one match, he would have definitely lost that match.
Yeah, but it wasn't, and he retained, and we get to see him wave around the U.S. title that he doesn't deserve for a little longer. Doesn't even live in America anymore.
Where does he live?
I think Puerto Rico, last I heard.
Oh, really?
Yeah, something like that. But I have to hand it to the dude. The dude puts on good performances. You can't ever take that away from him.
Yo.
And another good performance in this match, and he retained his United States title. But fun match, though. I fucks with this one. And in our next match for the WWE Women's Championship, we had Io Sky defending the title against Bayley.
I loved Bayley's entrance.
Yeah, I wasn't really sure like what the what it was supposed to be per se. But come to find out, it's like based off of like a museum in the Bay Area. That's where they got it from. Because obviously she's from San Jose.
I know, but I'm very fascinated with ancient Egypt and all that stuff. You know, I'm a historian. I love history. You know, but I thought it was dope.
You would have loved this. When I used to live in Florida, there was this one movie theater, this like one big ass movie theater that was designed just like that, like designed just like like the Mummy, King Tut type stuff. Yeah, it was designed just like that.
Oh,
You would have fucking loved it.
wow.
It was the biggest. It was like the most impressive movie theater I'd ever seen in my life up to that point. Like when I first like
Wow.
walked into that movie theater, I said I can never go to any other movie theater again except for this one. This is what going to the movies should be like.
You said
Because of the way it looked, it had this big ass arcade. It had this crazy ass food menu. Back when I used to eat that stuff, they had like pizza, they had burgers, they had
yeah.
fries, like a bunch of shit you wouldn't find like in the average movie theater. I'm like, yo, I'm coming here for the movies all the time.
You said this was in Florida?
In Florida, yeah. It was called Movico.
Oh, okay.
Kind of off the subject a little bit, but yes, Bailey's entrance was kind of inspired by that from like that museum in San Jose. I fucks with that vibe. And yeah, the match was solid. The match was pretty fun. But one thing I did like about the match is they brought back the chant for Bailey that they do in London whenever they're over there.
Hmm. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
Bailey, ooh, I wanna know
I didn't
if you
realize
my
what they were
girl.
saying.
Yeah, that's what they
I
say.
at first, yeah, I because I even tweeted, I was like, "What are they saying?" And somebody's like, I was trying to figure out the same thing too. I was like, "I'm glad I'm not the only one."
Yeah, I love that shit. Yeah, I remember they were doing it for like 5 minutes straight once, like at one of the Raw shows they had in London. Yo, that shit was crazy.
Oh, okay, I got you.
That's what I love about WrestleMania so much, bro, is these fucking fans. Like just seeing these people from all these different places come together with these different chants, different energy, different vibe. Yo, it's the fucking best.
Wow.
Damn, I miss going.
You know what? The match was turned out to be better than I expected. I knew it was going to be a good match, but this one really showed out.
Yeah, it was fun. I'm glad they kind of kept damage control together for longer to, build to this. And yeah, I also like the fact that there was no like, damage control shenanigans. There was like no outside interference. It was kind of just between the two of them. And then
Mhm.
ultimately, Bailey hit Io Sky with the top rope elbow drop, followed by the Rose Plant. And Bailey wins the women's championship for the first time in over 3 years and wins her very first singles match
Loved it.
at a WrestleMania. Good fucking shit.
Yes.
Yeah, I couldn't even believe it. It kind of threw me off a little bit that, yo, this was actually, yeah, her first singles match at a WrestleMania.
Oh man, I'm happy for her. It's kind of funny that Pat McAfee said how, you know, hey, if 49ers didn't win the Super Bowl or something like that, but yet she wins the women's title in the Philadelphia Eagles Stadium.
Yeah, it was nuts, bro. But I'm happy she got that moment. She definitely deserved it. And now all of the four horsewomen have had that marquee WrestleMania moment, whether it be main eventing the show, winning the title at the show.
Yes.
And yes, now she's a part of that club. Good shit. And then on to the main events. For the undisputed WWE Championship, we had Roman Reigns coming into his 1,316th day as the champion against the challenger, the man he cheated to beat at last year's WrestleMania, Cody Rhodes.
Yes. It all comes down to this, the moment that we've all been waiting for.
I was ready for this. I was focused 100% on this match and nothing else on earth. And I liked Cody's entrance with the mask that he came out with, and also Brandy came out with him on stage too.
Oh my
Yo,
God.
mad dope.
Kurt, Kurt, I'm going to tell you this. I'm not ashamed to say this. But when I saw her wife, I mean his wife, with him, I got a little emotional. I said to myself, he's gonna get it done. This is it. This is it. This is it.
Yeah, his entrance was just epic, and like you could just get the vibe, and you had that energy where it's happening. It is happening. I had that same feeling with
It
Bianca
has to.
Belair's entrance at WrestleMania 38 with the match with Becky. That's the exact same energy I had, but more.
Yeah. I said to myself, I got a little emotional. I was like, oh my God, like I'm oh, I was like, I can't help this right now. Like his wife is up there. I was like, he's doing it. He's gonna pull it off. So anyway, Cody Rhodes makes his entrance, and then Roman Reigns had a different style to his entrance. They didn't really play his theme song. They had like was it the Philadelphia like choir and band to play his music. I thought that was pretty interesting.
Yeah, it was dope. It was a great entrance, and you got the feeling, and you were hoping and praying it would be his last entrance as champion. You were. That's all I was saying. His whole entrance,
Yeah.
as impressive as it was, I was saying, you better savor this, bro. It's the last time. It is the last time. You had a great run, but you better get ready to kiss that belt goodbye. So yes, we had the face off between the two of them, and I like this, despite the fact that maybe the build for this match going into it this year wasn't that strong because of the whole Rock involvement and all that in the tag match. Once they came face to face and the match was starting, you were ready for it, and you really felt like it was a big deal, and you really felt like it was the biggest match of the year.
Very big deal.
Yeah, so we have the match, it goes on, and there's even one point where Roman hits Cody with the crossroads, and then when Cody kicks out, Roman's like, that move sucks. Of course he kicked out of it. I was just fucking around.
I was really surprised when Roman did did Cody Rhodes' finisher. It's like, man, like how often do we see stuff like that when somebody's doing their opponent's finisher? It's been a long time, hasn't it? But I thought it made the match more special and made it more great when I saw stuff like that. And I said to myself, I kind of knew, watch, Cody's going to end up doing Roman Reigns' spear, which he did, by the way.
Even through the railing. He did it through the railing, too.
Yeah. Yeah. But I thought when he did it
Did.
the first time in the ring, like when he did it the first time in the ring, I was like, oh my God. He's like, did he really just spear Roman Reigns? Wow.
Yeah, this match was good. It was going along. Obviously, Roman's matches have a certain pace to them. I guess we shouldn't be so surprised now looking back at the night one main event. The match goes on, it's good, and then it comes to the point where Jimmy Uso interferes.
Yep, not surprised. And then, it was Bloodline rules. Jimmy Uso gets involved, and out of nowhere, not surprised at all, his brother Jey Uso comes in. They take it out to the ring, even to the ramp, to the point Jey Uso spears Jimmy off the ramp onto the floor.
Yeah, that was nasty. Yo, that was nasty.
Ooh.
And that was probably better than their whole match was the night before.
Oh yeah, yeah. You're kind of like, where was this last night?
Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah, but then the match goes on, and then Cody has Roman set up for the crossroads. But just like last year at WrestleMania, Solo Sikoa comes out and hits him with the Samoan spike.
Lord.
And then
Good
Roman
Lord.
hits him with the spear. But unlike last year, Cody kicks out.
Right. I ain't gonna lie, Kurt. I got scared.
I knew he was going to kick out. It was building to that.
Dude,
you knew it was going to happen at one point.
Bro, I was just like, I can't. We can't. Seriously?
Bro, no, there was no way they were going to end it 2 years in a row the same way. That would be suicide.
Bro, look,
that would be creative suicide.
Hey, I had PTSD, damn it. Okay, I was there last year. There, in person. I was there.
It was still a
PTSD, damn it. All right? You just, come on.
Okay. Relax, bro. It's going to be okay. It's going to be okay.
Just have these emotions where, like, you just, you know what I mean? Like,
bro, it can't hurt you anymore. It's over. It can't hurt
at that
you
moment,
anymore.
I'm telling you, at that moment,
Cody kicked out, unlike last year, which obviously I saw coming. But then as this is going on, John Cena's music hits. And then John Cena comes out to counter Solo Sikoa. But as he's doing this, he also nails Roman Reigns with an attitude adjustment. And then he hits Solo Sikoa with an attitude adjustment through the announce table. Yo, this was great. I knew it was going to happen. I had a feeling it was going to happen. But yo, it was great.
Wasn't expecting John Cena, though. Just didn't really come to my mind.
I was expecting him to come out for this match because I figured if he wasn't going to have a match with Solo at WrestleMania and he kind of said he was going to maybe be involved, I figured he would probably be involved in this way. So, yeah, it worked out.
Oh, Yeah. Like I said, I didn't know all about that, and I'm kind of glad I didn't know that it had that surprise element to it. As a fan, it's something that I needed, so I'm glad I didn't know. Yeah, so John Cena takes out Solo Sikoa, give him the AA through the announce table, and then out comes the final boss, The Rock, which I knew he was going to make an appearance in this match. That wasn't a surprise to me, and we literally just had a WrestleMania 28 flashback. Both The Rock and John Cena are pretty much staring each other down, looking at the crowd, and they try to beat each other up, but The Rock gets the last laugh and gives him the rock bottom.
Yeah, that took care of Cena, but yeah, it was cool to see them go face to face as like a throwback to their past WrestleMania matches. And yeah, The Rock laid out Cena with the rock bottom, then pulled out the belt to whip Cody once again, but the Shield music hits. And I'm not gonna
I
lie,
thought it was going to
not
be
gonna lie, I'm
John
gonna be
Moxley.
honest. A part of yeah, I had a
We
feeling it was
all
gonna be
did.
him.
We all did. We were all fooled. We weren't the only one, Kurt. I was, and I think everybody else was. But no, it wasn't John Moxley, ladies and gentlemen. It was Seth Rollins in his Shield gear.
But as Seth Rollins is coming out with the Shield gear before he could do anything, Roman Reigns laid him out with a Superman punch. Yeah, so yeah, Rollins got no offense at all. So then The Rock pulls out the belt again to attack Cody. But as he's about to do this, the gong goes off and the lights go out.
Lights flicker back on, and then boom, it's the Undertaker behind him, behind the Rock. Unexpected. Turns around, he gives him that look and just gives the Rock one hell of a choke slam. Then the lights went back to dark, and then boom, he disappeared. Crazy.
Yeah, that gave me flashbacks of Vengeance 2002.
Man.
The Undertaker came out to counter The Rock, and then it comes to the point where Roman has a chair in his hand, and he has a choice between hitting Cody with the chair and hitting Seth Rollins with the chair. But Roman, getting flashbacks of when Seth Rollins turned on him in the Shield 10 years ago, yes,
PTSD.
decided to hit Seth Rollins with the chair instead. And then, as he then turns his focus on the Cody, Cody kicks him as he's about to spear him, and then hits him with not one, not two, but three crossroads to get the pin, finish the story, and finally become WWE Undisputed Champion.
Thank God. I want to go back to the sequence when Roman Reigns. This was like cinema at its finest. You saw how he had a choice to either take out Cody Rhodes or take out Seth Rollins, and because of the fact that he's still hurt by that situation, that betrayal from 10 years ago, it backfired on Roman Reigns, man. What could I say? How sad is that when you really think about that, man? That's kind of like wow, like you like oh man, it's stuff like you cannot get over, man, and you because of that, that's it backfired on you, man, and that's man. The betrayal from 10 years ago backfires on you when you're not focused on your present and you're that's it's crazy, man. But again, that was just perfect cinema and storytelling within that match, and that's what made the match really great.
Yeah, that part, especially when Roman hits Seth with the chair, especially considering that Seth is in the Shield outfit. Yeah, that was definitely perfect storytelling. This whole match throughout
Yeah.
it was just a perfect story from start to finish. And with the perfect story, it had the perfect conclusion.
Yeah, and when Samantha Irving made the announcement, I already knew, like, just from hearing her, you already knew she got choked up and got emotional. I could hear it in her
Oh,
voice.
yeah.
So before they even had videos of her showing her about to cry and all that stuff, I already knew from hearing her she got choked up, and I couldn't blame her. I felt it too because I kind of teared up when everybody was in the ring. God, boy, I have some. There's only a couple of WrestleMania moments where I kind of choked up. It's that one, and then Chris Benoit winning the title. I choked up, especially with Eddie in the ring with him. This one alone, it's one of the all time greatest endings for WrestleMania. Flashbacks of Bret Hart winning the title 30 years ago. All the talent goes into the ring, congratulates him. They even pick Cody up, similar to what they did with Bret 30 years ago. It was just, words cannot describe how beautiful that ending was, man.
Yeah, it was great to see him like just kneel down and be handed the title, and then Brandy to like kneel down with him to celebrate, and yeah, just to see him hold it up for the first time. Like I said before, and I'll say again, it is shit like that that reminds me of why I love wrestling so much. No matter how old I get, no matter what goes
And
on in my life, regardless of any of that, it is moments like that that are the reason why I love wrestling and why I will always love wrestling and defend it until the day I die.
And you know what made me more emotional was, I could hear Michael Cole talking, and Michael Cole talking about like I knew him since he was a kid, and I even did like what was like a podcast shows with him, and I saw him at his Hall of Fame speech, and he said like I knew he was going to be a star one day, and I got more emotional. I was just like, he even went out of the ring, congratulated. Well, he didn't just shook hands with Michael Cole, he hugged him, and I just like, dude, I can't take this no more, man. Like it was just too much. Oh, it was just all that raw emotion was coming at me all at once, man. Couldn't just. It was so much to take in, but in a good way.
Yeah, this is like the WrestleMania celebration to end all WrestleMania celebrations. That's the best way I could describe it.
Yeah, it was just the most perfect way to end it. Like he calls out Triple H, Bruce Pritchard, all the talent. Seeing Randy Orton there too, though, the history that they had. They're on legacy with each other back in 2009, and it's just like it was just so much, man.
Yeah, it was cool to have Orton there because like they came up together like with the whole Legacy stable, and yeah, they had CM Punk out there, they had Cena in there, they had Jey
Yeah,
Uso, Sami Zayn, Kevin Owens, LA Knight.
yeah.
Yeah, Brandy was there
Even his
though.
mom.
Yeah, his mom. That was probably the part that got me the most is when he handed the title to his mother. That's probably the part that got me the most.
Yeah. Oh boy, it was raw emotion, man, and it is one of the greatest endings. And I'm so happy for him that he finally got it done. There's been a debate now about, is WrestleMania 40 the greatest WrestleMania of all time? Look, I'm gonna state this for the record: apples and oranges, to each their own. I think everybody's entitled to have their own personal favorite WrestleMania. It's just like saying, who's your favorite artist or who's the best artist, like of whatever genre you like. You know what I mean? It's really not fair to say, oh, this is the greatest one, because everybody's opinion is going to be different, man. I've told you this before. WrestleMania 22 is my all-time favorite. Forever will be. You know what I mean? So is 40 one of the greatest? Yes. Would I say it's the greatest? No, I don't. I'm not going to say it's the greatest. I mean, again, it's to each their own, and I'm quite sure you have a different opinion about that as well.
It's definitely one of the greatest. I would definitely say that. When you combine both
Yeah,
nights together, especially night
yeah.
two, it definitely cracks the top 10. I'll definitely say that much. I can't call it my
Okay,
favorite. I can't say I like it more than
okay,
17, for example, but it was a very satisfying and great WrestleMania. From the production standpoint,
okay.
to the outcomes of many of the matches and many of the long title reigns that have been going on for years coming to their conclusion, from Gunther, Damien Priest, and Finn Balor. Also, Seth Rollins' title reign went a long time too. Io Sky's title reign was relatively long also. To now Roman's title reign finally ending. Yeah, this WrestleMania was special. This WrestleMania is definitely going to go down in history as one that I know I'll never forget. And especially with that ending and that celebration, with Cody Rhodes finally making it happen and like giving us kind of like that happy ending to a WrestleMania that we haven't had like in pretty much a decade. Yeah, it's hard to not put it in your top 10. It's hard to not say it's one of the greatest.
True.
Yeah, but I'm just so thrilled for Cody. He's the first person in his family to ever pull off anything like this. His brother never did it. His dad never did it, as great as their careers were. Yeah, but he did. Fucking A, he did it, man. And I have to say, after what happened last year, as bummed out as we were about it and as upset as we were about it, the way this year concluded, it made it worth it. The ending
It was all
justified the
worth it.
means. The ending justified the means.
It was all worth it. Like I said, very similar to 30 years ago, Brett losing at WrestleMania 9 and the way how that ended. You lose to Yokozuna, but yeah, you see Hogan win it. That was kind of like, eh. But then the following year, you win it fully. Very similar to like how it was.
And also beating the Samoan for it.
Yeah. Yep. Yep. Oh man.
But yeah, it was a very satisfying conclusion. And I'm looking forward to seeing how Cody's title reign turns out. I didn't cry. I thought I was going to cry, but I didn't cry. But yeah, I was
I
definitely
teared up.
emotional for this
I,
win.
I, I
Yeah.
teared up. I teared up. So that I count that as crying. So
Yeah,
um,
just things like this just make me genuinely happy. Because I remember when I was a
yeah,
kid, when like my favorites would win a championship, like it always would like make my day. And when things like this happen, especially considering the story behind it, it's hard not to be happy afterwards. It's hard not to feel
true,
joy and like feel vindication.
true. I just I was like, man, I wish I would have went, but if things were different,
Yeah,
but regardless, though, just to see it in person and just to, that was still, um, it was great.
but as great as it was to see Cody Rhodes finally finish the story and win the championship for the very first time, we have to give our shout outs and have to give our credit to Roman Reigns for the title reign that he had.
I feel like when we look at that a situation, I think they're both winners were in that match. Both of them were winners. We celebrate um, Cody Rhodes winning the title, but we also celebrate Roman Reigns' title reign. Pretty much from August of 2020 up until April of 2024. That is amazing. For him to hold on to that title that long, carry the company for that long since the pandemic when we are not performing before any fans, to hold it down and also more importantly get a whole character revamp. That was just so good that we needed it, but Roman needed it because we got a new fresh character of Roman Reigns and we all loved it.
Yeah, from the whole switch up of the character, the title reign itself, the whole bloodline aspect of it, the way that all went over the last like year and a half. You can't call this title reign anything but a success. And it's led to
Right.
WWE's like best boom period in 2 decades. And you just say to yourself, like, if only he had been allowed to do this like 9, 10 years ago.
Yeah, I always say to myself, like, man, what if I wish he would have had the tribal chief character like earlier?
And like in 2015, 2016.
Yeah, yeah, but I mean, it is what it is. I think him um, before he came back, that was kind of like the time that he needed off, and it was time for the company to like, okay, let's go back to the drawing board, and they did, and that was good for them. So that was something that Roman needed, but also the company needed, and also what the fans needed, and all those title defenses that he had, and it was worth it, man. And I'm actually proud to say, as a fan, that I was able to see two of his title defenses in person. SummerSlam 2021, his match against John Cena, and then recently last year at WrestleMania against Cody Rhodes.
That's good shit, man. I'm glad you got to experience that.
Yeah,
I've only seen him pretty much live once since this whole title reign. That was at that SmackDown a few months ago, and he didn't even wrestle.
yeah,
He was just like a part of an angle, but it was still cool to see him.
yeah.
Yeah, man, it's definitely one of those runs that will go down in history and deservedly so.
It won't. I don't think that it was something I don't think it will be duplicated. Just kind of like similar to Undertaker's
A new
WrestleMania
streak.
record, or when he was, yeah, when he was undefeated. It's something that won't be duplicated.
Definitely not. But I know we had our feelings about, like, his title reign, maybe, jumping the shark after, how last year's ended. But regardless of any of that, for him to have the run that he had this last 3.5 years and to accomplish what he did, I can't help but give it a round of applause. Yeah, that's one of the most impressive title
Same here.
reigns in my lifetime of being a wrestling fan. That's the most impressive title reign I've ever seen. Shout out to the tribal chief.
This is something that we usually don't see in our generation. This is like stuff we see like in the 50s or 40s. You know what I mean? Because you got to remember, wrestling was completely different at the time. So of course they're gonna have a long title reign. But now, like we don't see stuff like that. But I'm actually proud to say I was a part of it and to see that and witness that as a fan. So to Roman Reigns, I've been acknowledged you. I've been acknowledged you, and I'm going to acknowledge you again. We acknowledge you.
I like that shot that they had of like him smiling as Cody was pinning him. I don't know if you saw that picture.
I saw that.
That and also that shot of like Heyman hugging him at the curtain when they're walking up afterwards.
Yeah, yeah, I saw that
Yeah,
too.
it's emotional shit, man. But yeah, shout out to him for the reign he went on. It definitely will not ever be forgotten. We salute you, Roman Reigns.
Acknowledge you.
Yes, and I acknowledge WrestleMania 40 as being one of the best of all time, and definitely a WrestleMania that has a lot of rewatch value. I still haven't even been able
Yes,
to go back and watch Night Two yet. I've been so busy the last few days, I haven't like
I
rewatched
feel
Night
you.
Two yet.
Yeah, I feel you.
Yeah, but in any event, as great as WrestleMania was, we did have Raw the next night, which was opened by Triple H, and they were saying thank you, Hunter," and he said like crazy, "I was coming out to say thank you to you guys." And then he, talks about how great WrestleMania was, how much of a success WrestleMania was, which it was, by the way. It was apparently the most watched WrestleMania of all time, and it was the most watched event on Peacock of all time, or the second one at least.
I heard about that.
It's crazy, bro. I feel like WWE did more for Peacock than Peacock did for WWE.
Hmm.
It feels like Peacock's luckier to have WWE than WWE is lucky to have Peacock.
Peacock. Well, okay. The only reason why I got Peacock in the first place was because of WWE, Kurt.
Me
That's the only
too.
reason.
That's the only reason why I have it also.
You told it was funny. You told me before they had moved to Peacock. You told me like, oh well, George Lopez is on Peacock, and I was saying to myself like, bro, I'm not paying for another streaming device service. I'm sorry, I'm not doing it. No. And then what happened? What, a month or so later, they ended up moving over there, and I was like, well, shoot, I have no choice to get it now. But yeah, WWE is the only reason why I got Peacock.
Look, Peacock's content isn't bad. It's cool, but it's not HBO
No, no,
Max.
it's cool,
It's not
but
Netflix.
no, it's cool, but it's not. I'm telling you right now, is it wasn't a streaming service that's going to make me want to like, oh, I'm going to get this. I'm like, I just didn't feel it. I really watch how I spend, and I just don't want to just, you know what I mean,
Understood.
pay for something I'm not really going to use. So again, the only reason why I got it was because of WWE. So if WWE was not on Peacock, I would not had it. Period.
I hear that, but yes, Triple H came out to talk about, like, how great WrestleMania was, and then he went on to introduce our new champion, Cody Rhodes. Got a great reaction, and it's great to see him with the belt. It's great to see somebody new with the title and somebody deserving of that spot at that.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Cody comes out, and he also acknowledges Roman Reigns during his speech. But as he's cutting his promo, The Rock comes out to interrupt. And this was interesting. The Rock and Cody Rhodes kind of have a face off. And The Rock actually kind of like, gives Cody Rhodes his props. And then he actually asks to hold the WWE title for a moment, which Cody surprisingly agrees to let him do. And then The Rock like holds the belt for a second. And yeah, it's all weird and awkward. And then The Rock goes on to say, to no surprise to me, that he was going to be going away for a while. But when he comes back, he's targeting Cody and that championship belt. And then he ended the promo by like shaking Cody's hand and giving him something in his hand and saying,
Yeah.
"Don't ever break my heart again."
Yeah. Two things. What did he meant by that, and what did he give him in Cody's hand?
WWE The Music Volume 4.
I know you saw the meme.
But obviously, it's looking like from this that this feud is far from over. I'm hearing conflicting things of when their match is going to take place. I was thinking maybe
Yeah, with
SummerSlam,
the
but I've
SummerSlam.
supposedly heard that it's going to be WrestleMania next year.
Oof, we'll see.
Because supposedly The Rock wants to work with him more than he wants to work with Roman. I don't know how true that is. I just saw that floating around today, but I guess we're going to see how this all plays out in the next 12 months. But yeah, so now The Rock and Cody's pretty much set up for like a later date. We'll see when that happens. And also on Raw, we had Sami Zayn and Chad Gable win a tag match over Imperium. But then afterwards, it was announced that the two will face each other this coming Monday on Raw for the Intercontinental title. So Chad Gable is cashing in on that favor.
Okay, yeah, see, I told you.
I wonder if they're gonna do a skit with this where like they're walking to the ring together, like talking before the fight, kind of like how Rocky and Apollo did at the end of Rocky
Lord.
3, just having a
Oh
conversation.
God. I
Should be great. But anyway, yeah, we're gonna have that match on Monday. And also we're gonna have Dominic against Andrade this coming Monday on Raw. And I'm starting to feel like Dominic is gonna be the one to leave Judgment Day and probably join Legado del Fantasma.
we'll see that, but I'm more paying attention about what about Carlito, what you just told me. So,
Yeah, that too. But with the Sami Zayn and Chad Gable thing, I feel like this is gonna be a way for Chad Gable to turn on him.
mm,
And this is going to turn into a feud that's going to pretty much go on for like the next few months. I see them having like this match on Raw Monday, and then they're going to have a rematch definitely at Backlash. So maybe it'll all work out. Like, it sucks that Chad Gable didn't get that spot at WrestleMania, but fuck it. He'll get to have a feud with Sami Zayn over the belt and more than likely possibly win it at some point.
right.
Yeah, so we'll see how that happens. But that's looking like a lot of people are going to be taking time off for the next few months after Mania because I noticed that Seth Rollins wasn't at Raw, Becky Lynch wasn't at Raw, and Gunther wasn't at Raw either. And I'm also hearing Roman Reigns isn't going to be around for a while either.
True, I heard that. Not a surprise. So,
Yeah, I kind of figured with both Becky and Seth Rollins both losing at WrestleMania, and especially the condition Rollins looked like at the end of Mania, like, when they had to help him out as he was like, shaking Cody's hand at the end. Yeah, I kind of got the vibe that he's probably hurt for real, and him and Becky are probably going to take a break. And obviously, Roman, he's only part time anyway, so he's always taking the break, so it doesn't, surprise me in that regard. And Gunther, I didn't see on Raw Monday, so I'm guessing he's probably going to take a break too. And obviously, The Rock, we knew he was leaving to do a movie, so yeah, we'll see him when we see him. But yeah, it's going to be weird without some of these people for the next few months. But what is making a return at the end of the month is the WWE Draft, which will be taking place on April 26th on SmackDown and April 29th on Raw. And yeah, we're gonna really see where everybody like kind of ends up and where the next feuds are gonna go, and we're like what teams are gonna split up and all that jazz. And yes, I like the fact that they do this after WrestleMania. It makes perfect sense.
yeah, they did this before. A couple of occasions, if I remember.
Yeah, they've been doing it like a lot the last few years. So yeah, it makes sense. We'll see how it all plays out. And also on Raw in the main event, we found out who the next challenger for Damien Priest's World Heavyweight title is going to be. As in a fatal four-way, Jay Uso picked up the win over three other men, one of them being Drew McIntyre, to become the number one contender, but not without some outside interference from CM Punk.
I love that whole sequence because Drew McIntyre is about to go for the Claymore kick, and out under the ring, CM Punk distracts him. Man, telling you, dude, it's all karma again.
Yeah, it's great. I'm liking how this is playing out. And yeah, that Punk and McIntyre match, whenever it does happen, maybe fingers crossed SummerSlam, it's going to be a match to watch. I'm loving what they're doing with the two of them.
Me too. I loved it too, man. It's a feud waiting to happen, and I can't wait for it to explode. I just hope that Punk could come back soon, and hopefully he could stay healthy this time.
But speaking of CM Punk, before we get out of here, let's get into some AEW news. As this past Wednesday on Dynamite, as a part of the Young Bucks feud with FDR going into their Dynasty pay-per-view next weekend, they aired the footage of All In from back at Wembley Stadium in August where Jack Perry and CM Punk got into that backstage altercation. There was no sound for it, but you could see the two of them facing off and having the little altercation that they did. And in the altercation, you can see that Punk did throw punches at Jack Perry first and also did put him in a choke. And that was eventually broken up by Samoa Joe and a few other people. And this was basically a response to what CM Punk said in that Ariel Helwani interview last week about AEW and all the other things that went down while he was there. But I have to say, AEW, Tony Khan, and deservedly so, are getting clowned like a motherfucker for doing this.
For one, okay, let's get one thing straight. Okay, when CM Punk was getting interviewed, they asked him about the situation. So, I mean, what else are you supposed to do? They ask you a question, you give them an answer. Okay, it wasn't like CM Punk was, throwing shots at him. Number two, it is very petty what AEW did by showing that footage. That is just beyond petty. And it really shows how much of a incompetent boss that Tony Khan is. And then what backfired on them is that they showed the footage, but yet the fans were still chanting CM Punk throughout that night.
Yeah, after that whole thing, the number one thing trending was CM Punk, a dude who's not even in the company anymore, a dude who was just on WrestleMania the other night and in the ring after the main event was over, celebrating with the new champion.
Right. Petty.
Some clown ass shit. I hate to say it because I like AEW, but yo, this is just a trash, whack ass way to go about things. Like if you say it like in an interview or you put up a tweet about it, that's one thing. But making it a part of your actual weekly show where you're building to like a pay-per-view match and all that, yo, get the fuck out of my face.
Yeah, man. It's becoming very cringeworthy for me now. I think even the promo with Will Ospreay talking about Triple H, I thought it was just like, dude, seriously?
And the Adam Copeland promo from the week before, where like he spent the first 8 minutes talking about like how great AEW is, how everybody wants to be here, this is the place to be, and all that jazz. Yeah, that was basically a response to the Punk interview. So yeah, it's clear that they're butthurt about WWE gaining a lot of steam, and also the stuff CM Punk said about them, and they're responding in a way that's in a detriment to their fucking show.
Exactly. It's to the point, man, because I saw their pay-per-view schedule. AEW Double or Nothing is coming here to Vegas next month. Bro, I don't know if I want to go.
Yeah, this really put a bad taste in my mouth. I know a lot of other people's mouths too, and you have every right to feel that way. Yeah, this whole thing just reeks of WCW 2000. And you could even see two different pictures of Tony Schiavone from, Bash at the Beach 2000 and from watching that segment on Wednesday night, and he has the exact same expression on his face.
Yeah, yep.
Bro, if you guys keep this up, if AEW keeps up this bullshit, we're not going to have a strong number 2 anymore.
I know. Stay in your lane. That's all I have to say.
I'm going to sing a song for Tony Khan that was a socially conscious song in the early 90s that I hope that he appreciates. Self-destruction. You're headed for self-destruction. Self-destruction. You're headed for self-destruction. Yeah, bro, that dude needs to toughen up and stop being so damn sensitive. Yeah, because this shit is mad whack. Yeah, I didn't even want to watch Dynamite. I didn't even watch Dynamite at all. I just heard about this and I watched like the clip of how it happened just to do research for the show. And I said, bro, are you guys fucking serious? Tony Khan even said that the reason why they were airing this was to get people excited for their Dynasty pay-per-view. But what the fuck are people talking about? Not the Dynasty pay-per-view, not AEW Dynamite, the show. All they're talking about is somebody who's in WWE now.
Mm-hmm.
Get the fuck over yourselves. All right, I just hope they really learn a lesson from this. I really hope they take this loss as a lesson and stop doing this clown ass shit, because if they keep doing this clown ass shit, as empty as their arenas are now, they're going to become even emptier.
Exactly.
All right, bro, I know you got to get out of here, so we'll wrap this up. It was an incredible WrestleMania weekend. I'm kind of bummed that it's over, honestly, but life goes on, wrestling goes on, and I'm looking forward to continuing to talk about it with John in these days, weeks, and months to come, and all these other big events that we have to look forward to, because it is a good time to be a wrestling fan. It is a good time to be alive, and I just love being along for the ride for this because, yeah, this is the most fun that wrestling has been in decades, and I'm just happy that I'm able to be a part of it, and I'm happy that we're actually able to experience it and live through it.
Same here, man. I'm happy for the turnout we have for WrestleMania, and I'm looking forward to what the rest of 2024 is about to become, man. So, like I said, this soap opera is never ending, and I'm all here for it.
Yes, and so am I. So until next time, for John Randall, this is Conscious Kurt with another edition of Clash with Le Champions. Take care. God bless. Also, wear sunscreen if you're going out in the sun, especially if you haven't been out in the sun in a long time. And more importantly, so don't be an asshole in real life or social media, because if you do, you're going to end up like Drew McIntyre at WrestleMania. Have a good one, guys. Also, that shit's for the birds.
Bye. Right.